2019 BMW 2 Series Active Tourer Review. Among the barrage of brand new SUVs stealing sales from small people carriers left, right and center, it's amazing which the 2 Series Active Tourer exists, and BMW has facelifted it into 2019 form. But then BMW wouldn't be going after its job when it didn't offer something for all. And rivals like the Ford C-Max, Volkswagen Golf SV and Citroën C4 Picasso really should be worried. Due to the BMW badge, the 2 Series Active Tourer is among the most desirable compact 5-seat people carrier in the marketplace. There's a 7-seat version due later also, and both promise to supply practicality to BMW fans that can't live without the company's image and gratification credentials. See also the BMW 2 Series Gran Tourer review. Front-wheel drive as standard. Watching the spec sheet they might expect to be described as a little disappointed. Gasp. The BMW 2 Series Active Tourer was the primary car to emerge on the hallowed halls of BMW that sends its drive through the leading wheels, provided that you ignore the BMW-owned Mini type of course. However, what this means is it's much easier to drive than previously, although ultimately it's not quite as precise or engaging being a 3 Series saloon. It's still the sharpest in the compact MPV pack with good steering and excellent body control. Add to which the option with the X-Drive 4-wheel drive system, a decision that's been incredibly popular over the rest in the firm's range within the UK, and it also is no surprise the 225i and 220d models will probably be available using this type of later that year. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer, petrol or diesel choices. There's a couple engines to pick from, one 4-cylinder diesel then one 3-cylinder petrol, both which has a focus on economy and efficiency in lieu of performance. The former produces 150 horsepower and 330 Nm from the 2.0-litre turbocharged unit, completing the 0 to 62 mph sprint in 8.9 seconds. Slightly slower, as a result of its smaller displacement, 1.5 litres, will be the 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol, that takes 9.3 seconds to accomplish the same benchmark sprint and produces 136 horsepower and 220 Nm of torque. The good news is it's more refined, and you'd fight to detect it's simply a 3-cylinder and less driving that it is hard. Both engines come in a variety of tunes, through the 216D using the 220D diesel. In addition there are the 220i and 225i petrol engines. A choice of automatic gearboxes, 6-speed for your 3 cylinders and 8-speed for your 4, supplement the typical 6-speed manual gearbox coming from all engines. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer, still an environmentally friendly choice. The 3-cylinder petrol and efficient diesel both boast industry-leading emissions, whilst the plug-in hybrid version adds limited battery-only running. All diesels possess some form of exhaust gas treatment tech in the type of particulate filter and selective catalytic reduction using AdBlue. The lower-powered petrol and diesel models release less than 120 grams/km of CO2, ensuring cheap annual road tax costs, and in many cases the triple-cylinder petrol can return over 57 miles per gallon, the diesel bettering this by over 10 miles per gallon for the combined cycle. That's all up to the firm's efficient dynamics kit, which on both the Series Active Tourer includes lighter-weight steel for that structure, auto start, stop, brake energy recuperation along with an aero curtain which improves aerodynamics to decrease fuel consumption. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer, practical and good they are driving. Once you're beyond the draw and the badge, it's this car's promised practicality that is the 2 main Series Active Tourer's key appeal. Unlike a few of its rivals there aren't any individual seats inside the rear, even so the bench is usually split 40/20/40 for folding and slid forwards and backwards to improve luggage space behind. In its most luxurious position legroom rivals that in the firm's flagship 7 Series saloon. The boot holds 486 litres with this setup, and is also aided with a large tailgate opening and flat load floor, with very little load lip. Fold all with the rear seats as well as the space increases to hold on to up to 1,510 litres, or about the same being a 3 Series Touring. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer facelift for 2019. For 2019, the 2 main Series Active Tourer is facelifted. It was an exceptionally light touch makeover, with new lights and bumpers at the leading and rear, plus some tweaks for the interior. Job done. The LED headlights are already sharpened program BMW's Corona Ring daytime running lights. They could be upgraded to adaptive LEDs. The regular models and even more aggressive M Sport receive bumpers that differentiate them further, and all of models receive a full-width lower grille below the kidney grille, which may be enlarged for 2019. The instrument panel is updated, plus the iDrive continues to be upgraded using the rest with the BMW range. Good SP watch of petrol, diesel and hybrid power. Manual and automatic gearboxes to select from. Hybrid launched in 2016, quiet, quick and efficient. At launch there was only 2 engines available, and as being a family car, BMW 2 Series Active Tourer performance hasn't been a priority. The range has subsequently expanded significantly, though. All use a new modular construction, either 1.5-litre 3-cylinder examples or larger 2.0-litre units with 4 cylinders, and fitted transversely, sideways instead of lengthways, beneath the car's bonnet. In 2016 a plug-in hybrid was introduced. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer petrol engines. The 218i, and that is actually a 1.5-litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine, produces 136 horsepower which enable it to sprint from 0 to 62 miles per hour in mere 9.2 seconds. It's an immensely refined unit, with virtually no giveaway that by most conventions it's missing a cylinder, and responds perfectly from low down within the rev range, even though it does its best higher up the rev range. Equally hushed at speed, 2 Series Active Tourer owners will likely be more concerned about refinement than straight-line performance. Those who do crave more were required to wait until November 2014, if your 218i was supplemented with the 220i and 225i, however the latter was discontinued within the UK during 2019. Both have the 2 main 0.0-litre, 4-cylinder engine, the 225i with 230 horsepower and xDrive 4-wheel drive. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer diesel engines. If economy and efficiency, using a lower shop price than the hybrid, are the priorities, then it's the 218D that could likely catch your eye. This 2.0-litre 4-cylinder diesel is able to emit only 109 grams/km but could sprint from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 8.9 seconds, because of its 150 horsepower and 330 Nm of torque. The 3-cylinder petrol has it licked for refinement, although diesel does feel more willing around the move. Like the petrol engines, the diesel lineup was expanded in November 2014 with the 216D, 3-cylinder 1.5-litre, and 220D, which has a higher output version from the 218D's engine. Should you wish, the 220D is also provided by xDrive, where it's fitted together with the 8-speed automatic gearbox as standard. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer plug-in hybrid engines. Don't be fooled through the 225X badging. The plug-in hybrid (FEF) version of each Series Active Tourer uses technology through the i8 sports cars, together with the 3-cylinder 1.5-litre petrol engine powering leading axle twin having an electric motor driving the spine wheels. In the leading-edge smooth and simple drive an automobile, with near-instant response due to its electrical assistance. Subscribe for the full evaluation of how the BMW 225X Active Tourer. BMW 2 Series Active Tourer gearboxes. There are 4 gearboxes available depending upon the age of the 2 Series Active Tourer, the especially smooth and efficient 8-speed automatic, as well as 3-cylinder engines a 6-speed version. Those who choose to swap cogs themselves will quickly realize BMW's 6-speed manual gearbox instead, that is easy to use, having a short throw and relaxed shift action. A 7-speed dual-clutch automatic was added during 2019's facelift. probably the most effective people carrier to operate a vehicle. Feels as being a proper BMW for most ways. Based on platform given to many, X1. Once regarded, or perhaps marketed, because ultimate driving machine, the creation of a front-wheel drive BMW, and specifically a tight people carrier, shocked the Marx purists. However, if you're a fan on the firm's products along with their driving appeal, then don't worry, while both the Series Active Tourer won't trouble an M3 around a racetrack, it's sharper than a lot of its family-orientated competitors. In fact, nevertheless feels being a BMW to push, rapidly change an engine and transmission layout, as well as for most drivers you'd be hard-pushed to notice the back wheels aren't being driven. Plus 4-wheel drive X-Drive models were provided, 225i and 220d, after the initial launch. The optional electronic damper control, adaptive suspension, that enables drivers to tailor the auto's responses with their requirements, and road conditions can be a worthwhile extra. Variable sports steering can also be optional, and from expertise in other BMW products on this fitted whenever they are noticeable difference for keen drivers, whether or not that's definitely not who this vehicle is aimed towards. Regardless, body control is great and the two main Series Active Tourer corners flatly and without fuss, even at speed, it's easily as good to operate a vehicle as the Ford C-Max or Golf SV. That's in spite of the car's 1,563mm height, plus part down to your wide, 1,561mm front and 1,562mm rear, distance between right and left wheels. There is however firmness towards the chassis that never quite disappears, which implies the Citroën C4 Space Tourer includes a more comfortable ride. As expected, both the Series Active Tourer comes filled with BMW's electronic stability control system, but like its X-badged SUV models, X1, X2 and X3, by way of example, you'll be able to fully disengage the device, however not most of these compact people carriers will venture onto a track. Overall, the experience is often a good one. We like the weighting on the steering and yes it's not difficult to park, too, with good visibility about the car on account of lots of glass. Acoustic sensors or automatic parking can be found as you climb the trim structure. Smart, well thought out cabin design. Gets the most recent BMW technology. iDrive multimedia among the top available. BMW expects around 75% of 2 Series Active Tourer buyers ahead from conquest sales. But for your other quarter coming from your firm's other models, the cabin layout is going to be relatively familiar. The layering design on the dashboard can be something we've seen throughout the rest from the BMW range, as will be the tablet-like freestanding multimedia display screen inside the center, as you move the instruments have become much like those found elsewhere. That said, some from the switchgear has gotten an update, essentially the most noticeable being the climate controls which look vaguely harking back to an Audi system along with the automatic gear lever is often a different design to the people we have seen recently in the firm. You'll probably require some time to familiarize yourself while using iDrive interface, unless you're a BMW owner, through which instance you'll wonder how we ever managed without this kind of intuitive control system. Add to that excellent material quality, fit and finished, plus neat switchgear and the two main Series Active Tourer's cabin is one with the highlights. From July 2019, BMW installed its latest professional 8.8-inch iDrive infotainment package from the Active Tourer, along with a built-in SIM card along which has a Wi-Fi hotspot, Microsoft 365 connectivity, enhanced voice control capability using real speech, real-time traffic information with time-to-leave notifications, and optional Apple CarPlay connectivity. A clear head-up display features too, so we noticed that it's one from the few systems being offered that works perfectly with polarized sunglasses, though during some types of driving, like dusk maybe in heavy rain, it might become slightly distracting. You can switch it, though. Very solidly built but ride is really a little firm. Hybrid will be the quietest from the range. Optional adaptive suspension helps. Built to hold families, it ought to be no surprise that comfort was near the top from the BMW 2 Series Active Tourer's priority list during development. Certainly, the seats are generally BMW into their B-watch the adjustment, there's plenty, without excuse for not choosing the right driving position. That said, you choose to do sit 30mm higher than inside the maker's X1 SUV, plus it feels high from your driving seat. Along while using seat adjustment in advance, there's an abundance of reach and rank movement from the steering wheel too. On the move, especially from the 3-cylinder petrol model, the 2 main series Active Tourer impresses, with this particular engine by far the most noticeable noises in the wind, instead of the pistons, unless you're really accelerating hard. The diesel isn't quite as refined, yet once you've reached your desired cruising speed it quickly settles to your hushed note, with simply a little vibration over the controls. An underlying firmness for the suspension, that permits the BMW to corner much better than a Citroën C4 Space Tourer for instance, entails you can feel most on the ruts and bumps below you, and that's without selecting sport mode inside the adjustable suspension. But as the ride isn't pillow soft, it's rarely wearing, and usually very well composed. If comfort is the best primary consideration, you'll realize that a 225x plug-in hybrid should suit your purposes nicely. This is because it runs in near silence when on electric power, and having a theoretical array of 28 miles, it's possible many drivers would use this model without the need for any fuel at all, being a city commuter car. 4 trims, fairly well specified. Many options for the table. Exact spec for 2019 models TBC. There are 4 trim choices for that BMW 2 Series Active Tourer inside UK. The entry level say is supplemented by Sport, Luxury and M Sport models. Standard BMW 2 Series Active Tourer equipment. Regardless which trim you decide on, all BMW 2 Series Active Tourers come well equipped, while you'd accrue for their price. On same models, Practicality is taken care of using the automatic tailgate, which hides the 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split rear seat, and 60 hours 40 minutes sliding base, with electronic folding, and that means you must clamber around within the rear watchy to facilitate large loads. Life's made equally easy for your drive as a result of Bluetooth connectivity plus a USB interface to the BMW Professional Radio with single CD player, which allows for audio streaming and will be offering DAB radio. Everything is displayed within the central freestanding, as would be the current fashion 6.5-inch monitor. Keeping occupants cool may be the dual-zone climate control system, while rain and lightweight sensors activate the headlights and wipers automatically, and rear parking sensors mean there's no excuse for backing into anything unexpected. Drive performance control with EcoPro helps save fuel, because of efficiency tips, along with the car might be started within the button without a key. If buyers fancy something somewhat sportier, then it's the £1,250 higher priced Sport model that could catch their eye, adding 17-inch alloy wheels, as opposed to 16-inch items, sports front seats, LED ambient lighting and tweaks on the interior trim and exterior styling. Next inside lineup would be the luxury model, £2,000 more than the conventional say, that's liable to bring with it 17-inch alloy wheels of any different design, leather seats, LED ambient lighting, chrome exterior details and wood trim around the interior. November 2014 saw the rollout of M Sport models, costing an additional £3,000 within the say specification cars, and changed the look on the car because of an aerodynamics package, specific M Sport suspension, 18-inch M Sport alloy wheels and sports leader and seat combination. Optional BMW 2 Series Active Tourer extras. There are many options packages available for the BMW 2 Series Active Tourer, each offering big money of extra kit for no more cost versus the individual items added together. The technology package adds a reversing camera, comfort access, that enables you to open the boot with just a swing of your respective foot below the back bumper, and adaptive LED headlights. Choose the Navigation Plus package and you're treated to a different 8.8-inch full-color display, connected drive services with live traffic information along with a head-up display. There's also the normal navigation package with smaller screen and regular traffic information, along with a driver comfort package with adaptive cruise control and park assist. After which the list is extensive, and includes the panoramic glass sunroof, which floods the cabin with light, rendering it feel even larger, as well as the upgraded Harman Kardon head unit, active cruise control and other trim and color choices. Post-facelift 2019 BMW 2 Series Active Tourer equipment. The update in 2019 introduced a number more features, but at time of writing exact pricing and specifications have yet to be released. However, expect this. 2 extra body colors. 6 new designs of alloy wheel. New seat covers. Optional LED headlights and tail lamps. Latest generation professional multimedia and iDrive control system. Driver assistance systems detailed below in safety. The 2 Series Active Tourer scored 5 stars at Euro NCAP's crash testing program. It's got lots of safety kit fully briefed as standard, including 2 rear ISOFIX mounting points and something in top passenger seat. And if the worst should happen, and you've an accident, BMW Emergency Call will automatically contact you together with inform the area emergency services if any from the car's airbags are deployed. A raft of connected drive options further increase the 2 main Series Active Tourer safety, with adaptive LED headlights, a head-up display with an active cruise control that may break in the event it detects you might be closing within the car in front, are typical available. On top of that, Active Guard and driving assistance stops you wandering between lanes at the same time as detecting objects and pedestrians with your way, warning you of these presence, if required braking you to your halt. Watch BMW 2 Series Active Tourer Euro NCAP crash test. Spacious cabin and larger boot. Hybrid model suffers slightly. Should prove all too easy to park. Space is essential here. Therefore BMW 2 Series Active Tourer Practicality is one on the highlights on the entire package. In comparison, using the 1 Series Sports hatch, the compact people carrier is 16 mm longer and 25 mm wider. Despite a fractionally shorter wheelbase, the Active Tourer boasts more interior space, with rear legroom comparable to your 7 Series. Certainly, it's no problem for just a full-sized adult to sit down behind another in complete comfort. That rear bench slide forward or backwards too, varying the amalgamation between boot and passenger space as required, though there's no full removal option. The Active Tourer shouldn't be hugely challenging to park. Its footprint will be the size of the medium hatchback, but due to the tall body the motorist has great visibility because the windows are really big. Depending on specification, you'll be able to have rear acoustic sensors, a camera or perhaps an automatic parking system to assist this 2 Series slot for your garage. With the back seats, electrically, folded flat, floor space is comparable to that with the firm's 3 Series Touring. The 2 Series Active Tourer sports an especially wide rear tailgate opening too, to make loading larger items easier. Including the underfloor closet, there's as much as 468 liters of space available, with 1,510 on offer while using rear seats folded. It's worth noting here the 225X plug-in hybrid bias will suffer a bit of room on account of the batteries located beneath the boot floor, so capacity drops to 400 and 1,350 liters respectively. If you've got longer what you should carry, then your optional folding front passenger seat is often a worthwhile option, while as standard the backbench splits in a very 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds configuration.